Salutations, my friends, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Factions of Freedom. I am your host, Noisera, Freedom Faction, and I am actually joined by my awesome co-host, Laurie Alexander. Laurie, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are?
Right, the typical coast to coast line, wherever you may be, morning, evening, afternoon. I'm
Yep.
fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay today, thank you. Yeah, doing all right.
All right, all right. We can work. We can work with all right.
But yeah, well, it's a beautiful. I think I don't even know. I haven't even opened up my drapes yet. I think it's a beautiful, partly sunny day. With a chance of chem clouds here in Chicago. So
Here
we're
and there.
we're good here and there. Yeah.
So I've titled this one Lucifer International because I feel like it's good for us to. It's. I feel like we keep a hot eye on these Satanists, and it's a good
Oh yeah.
idea to keep an eye on these Satanists. Recently, they opened up the temple in what was it, Boston, Massachusetts? Yeah, or the international
Salem,
headquarters.
Massachusetts. International headquarters of the Temple of Satan in uh, Salem, Massachusetts, right around the corner from an elementary school. It used to be the building that they're in is a Victorian house. Used to be a funeral parlor. So,
A funeral parlor. Oh,
but yeah, well, nothing to see here, folks. Keep on moving.
right. It's not like they're doing
Necromancy,
any necromancy. Any working with the
right?
dead. Like,
Necromancy, right? That's the first thing I thought of. It's like, wow, there's nothing to see here, folks. Just keep strolling by that house. But yeah, and Lucian Graves, who is the leader of the Temple of Satan, founder and leader. Well, not found. Yeah, he's actually the co-founder of the Temple of Satan. Not to be confused with the Church of Satan, which is Anton LaVey's, sect of
mm-hmm.
Satanism. But yeah, so Lucian Graves, he's the guy who is pushing for not only the after school programs in the public school system now, but he's also the one that is behind the prayer in the city council meetings and stuff across the US. So Lucian Graves,
He's active.
just the name, yeah, just the name alone, Lucian, Lucifer Trust, Lucian Trust. I mean, it's all bound together. It's all part of the agenda to, you know, to break down the the belief system of the people and to put in place the new beast technology, the new beast system that's going to be taking over or has taken over, I should say.
Well, Lucian was there whenever they unveiled the Satanic Temple in what was it, Detroit? He was one of the ones that was doing
Yeah,
an Ask Me Anything or a
right.
Q&A on I think Reddit whenever they had done the unveiling. He kind of like explained the whole elaborate process of how they had to
Yeah.
pass out secret invitations to where they had to go get other secret invitations, and it was a whole process for the actual unveiling of the satanic statue. Lucian
Right.
Graves,
It was kind
he's
of like
been active.
he's very active. He's very active. He's very vocal, and he's pushing for all of these changes to come about. Um, you know, like I said, in the public school system, in our city councils, and our state governments. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely a mover and a shaker in the world of Satanism.
I think it's him and another man named Jex or Jax Blackmore. I think it's Jex Blackmore.
Yeah,
There's a few other
they
people
are
that are.
both a co-founder.
What's that?
I believe he's the other co-founder. If I'm not mistaken.
Hey, you're right. I think I'm glad that you also talked about how they were also leading invocations as well during civil government things like that. How they're subtly starting to infiltrate their way as being a religious and a political influence in the world. I mean, especially like this year alone.
Right. Exactly. And they are. They've definitely started pushing this. They've definitely started, putting into place different aspects. And unfortunately, here's where our Constitution is a double-edged sword, because we have to give equal time and
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to different religions. Now we have to give equal time to the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a double-edged sword here.
religious religious liberty, or whichever one they decide to, whichever just word they
Right.
decide to turn onto it.
Right, exactly. And any really, any religious sect can become a 501c3 and get, government protection under the First Amendment. So, I mean, we're seeing this. I mean, come on, there's a new religious sect out there. I think it's called the Church of the Spaghetti Strainers or something like that.
The spaghetti flying, or the monster flying spaghetti, or the brain spain. Yeah,
Oh,
I know which one you're
something
talking
like
about.
that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know which
Yeah.
one
So
you're
I mean,
talking about.
so yeah, so any crackpot can claim 501c3 status and get protection under the First Amendment. So it's scary, you know?
Well, one of the things I think people, they because
It
people
is.
maybe they downplay the time, maybe they downplay, you know, the actual information, what's being said, what's being told.
Um,
But it's like a lot of people don't really see the advances that I think the Satanic Kingdom that it's making. Whenever they come out, destroy the Ten Commandments, and then erect the Satanic Temple. They construct the Syrian Arch Gateway, the Triumph Arc.
Right.
They get religious freedom. They get religious capabilities. They get
You're
satanic
breaking
after
up really
schools.
bad, hon.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad.
of course. It's always got to be something.
I know. I'm telling you. Well, you know what? YouTube is implementing new things, and I'm not liking it at all. It's time to call the guy he's approached me to go on to his radio station, and I think maybe the time is to go to a different platform other than YouTube.
Do it. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like with your success already, I mean, it was bound to happen in one way, shape, or form. I say seize it. I definitely say seize it. Right now they have too many people that are
You're
just like,
breaking up so bad.
still. That's for sure. Taking everything off the internet over here. Well, since we're still going live on this end, uh, what I think people really don't understand, this is what I was trying to get into beforehand, before we started having the connectivity issues, is that whenever they have shows like Lucifer on the television, whenever we have them making satanic statements, satanic achievements, and it's all subtle, all within this 1 year. You got to think how aggressively they're pushing, where exactly they're coming from, the society that we've kind of been handed, so to speak, or that the society that they're trying to get involved into. I mean, every other week or so, I'm putting up possession videos, and sure, it might not seem like something at the time, and this is where monitoring this type of information comes into play. Whenever I did a video earlier this week, one of my occult worlds, I was talking about Father Gabriel Amroth. Laurie, are you with us? Maybe.
I can't even hear you. You're breaking up so bad.
Really?
Crazy. They're saying they're hearing us both fine on the other end, so it's got to be my end.
That's crazy. I took off
Okay, hold on.
everything.
Let me go back out. Let me go back out. I'll come right back in.
Okay. Ooh. Lucifer International apparently is an extraordinarily catchy title if it's got these guys messing with our stream. And for the people that are listening, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what that's about. I mean, this is why we're simulcasting on two different, actually multiple channels. We're on my channel. We're on Laurie's channel. Uh, we're on my website. We're all over the place. Um, but what I'm trying to basically say, like I said, with Father Gabriel Amroth, right there, leader of the world's exorcist, is dead at 91. At 91, he died. Think about this. This man devoted his entire life to fighting Lucifer, to fighting the advancements of demons. So whenever we have people that say there's no such things as demons or spirits, Well, this is either someone that doesn't want to believe that, or has not or not experienced it. This is why I'm always talking constantly about different things that are going on in the spiritual world. That we're clearly not dealing with everything that's in the physical realm. I mean, the concept that people have to materialize their thoughts, bring them into reality. Take that on a larger scale, where there are groups dedicated to doing certain mystifying things in achieving occult results, you see. So, in a very vague way, I'm saying yes, there are covens, yes, there are witches, yes, there are warlocks, yes, there. Because in his world, he wants to defame God. He wants to destroy. He wants to destroy what it is to be human, what it is to be holy, right? That's why they constructed the Arc Triumph, or the triumph of the Arch Triumph in New York, because they're using that as a symbol, as a way to say that yes, this is the new age. Me and Laurie are constantly going on about how this is Anna Lucius, the year of light, 2016, right? And we can see evidence of this. Maybe? Are you with us, Laurie?
Okay.
Yeah?
I can hear you again. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, you mentioned about how, when we go the air of this stuff happens, and to remind people that Lucifer is the god of the air, Airaer, god of the
Mm-hmm.
airwaves. So
I was just,
it
I
doesn't
was,
surprise me that this happens when we're together, or when any of us get together and we try to put out information about him. So
well, I was just going on about how me and you are always going on how this year in particular, 2016, Anna Lucius is the year of light. And how these types of things, them coming out doing the Gothic tunnel ritual, or messing with our shows, even doing things like this, it's all evidence of what's going on this year.
and you're cutting out again.
Of
Gosh dang it.
of course. Of
Okay.
course.
I did catch a little bit what you were saying, and it's true. I mean, this is the year of Anna. It was the year of Anna Lucia, 23rd. Nothing happened. You guys put out the word. You blew the trumpet. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Level of comfortability. Like there, as I always say, in the words of Helena Blavatsky,
Yeah.
other things in mind for us. That's all right. We usually work around them. We usually work around them. So yeah, as I was saying, the idea that they're sending satanic statements, the idea that this is not accident, the destruction of our country, not accident. The idea that we're having all this new tech come out while while we can sense that something is wrong with the planet, not accident. One of the things I think that people don't take into consideration, and this is good because whenever we had Robbie D on the show yesterday, or I was on their show yesterday, we were talking about how there's portals, there's different ways that these Satanists, that these people interact. And as Laurie mentioned earlier, it's not simply a spiritual or a physical battle. They don't build these things and say, oh well, there you go, time to call it quits. They build these things because of what they're able to do to declare a new age. I mean, that's why at the end of 2015 we had Satanists declaring the reign of a new age on Capitol stairs. This didn't happen by accident. This isn't an anarchist move. This is a spiritual statement. Let's see if we can get Laurie on the line. Salutations, Laurie.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Is that better?
But so far.
All right, let's go with it.
Okie dokie, let's do it.
Of course, it happens right whenever we start to get to the juicy stuff. It would have to happen just like that.
Actually, no, it's not any better. It's my computer. I think I fried my computer finally.
No, this is crucial. This is crucial. Um, I can keep it going. I mean, if you want to try to restart it,
I just did.
yeah.
Keep it going. Keep it going. I will. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm having the same problem over here on Skype. I don't understand it.
Well, if we needed any more evidence, that this stuff wear and tears either on our hardware or on our soul, there you go. That's what I got.
In this case, it's my hardware. I think I fried my computer finally.
There's got to be like an easier way to have like convenient and casual conversation over the internet without destroying the technology. There's,
Yeah, exactly.
um, well, crap. That puts a bummer in the show.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Um, let me. Crap. Trying to think. I'm not going to be available again until tomorrow evening.
We know what we can do then. We'll
What?
we'll put a pause on this, and if anything,
Okay.
I'll probably turn this into like a video. I'll work on the information we put out, and I'll like
Okay.
sample some of your voices and come up with a cool video.
All right. You will do this again. I promise. I'll have Dave have my computer taken in. I'll try to set up all of my programs on Dave's computer. I mean, I have a backup computer, but none of my programs are on it. So none of my Skype's not on it. So none of my emails are on it. So,
Dang.
um, yeah, it would take me at least a half hour to get it situated to where I could use it.
All right.
So.
Well, then I'll let you go, and then.
All right. Sorry.
No, you're fine, Laurie. We'll be in talk. We'll be in communication.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye. Aw, rough days. This is what happens whenever you just work tirelessly. I mean, you got to give it to Laurie, dude. Go look at her work. Go look at what she's done. That computer. Ooh, man, if this is the first time she fried it and then she got that much effort out of it, I cannot wait to see what happens. Like whenever she gets a new one working. Like, really, you gotta think. Like, she's working on just that one computer. We've gone over the timeline of Laurie's transition into this. The underground resistance movement, the Sentinels of Truth, like everything she's doing, hardly ever sleeping, working on that dang computer. So to have this happen now, it makes sense. And obviously she got her money's worth out of the computer. I mean, if she's been doing fantastic work with it, and it's just now starting to kind of crap, especially on this kind of topic. Oh, man. I say kudos, Laurie. I just wish you could be here on the show with me. But yeah, then I mean she was the whole crux. But to kind of summarize it, like you guys heard, I will be making this into a subsequent video because of all the problems that we did have. But just basically look at that. I know I didn't really get into the meat and potatoes like I'd like to, but just know that with a title like Lucifer International, these people are trying to send statements across the entire world, making satanic declarations that their God, Lucifer, the Lightbringer, that their God is now reigning, and that it's with these types of rituals, these types of possessions, these types of things going on, where they illustrate that to us, and that's because we're not overtly standing in our faith. These people are unifying behind the general degradation of man, the spiritual demoralization of man. And that's why it's coming from so many different angles, because they're trying to, and they're unifying underneath the banner of an anti-human agenda, if you ask me. Uh, yeah, I would love. Should I go on? Should I not go on? I would love to, but I feel like in respect to Laurie, I can't. But that's all I can really say for you guys right now, is look into this. Just know that I will be putting together something with a subsequent video for this, because this is an extraordinarily heavy topic. I wanted to hit a lot of different things, and if I don't put together a video, I will do a subsequent episode on the specific topic. But that's all I really got for you guys. I'm sorry I didn't have the full show. Obviously, Lucifer has his ways. But be on the lookout, and I will talk to you guys soon. That's all I got. Stay vigilant, expose lies, and share truth. This is Noise Era, Freedom Faction, out.